2025 has been a surprisingly strong year for period dramas. Instead of endless reboots, we've actually had ambitious projects with real money, smart writing, and great casts. We've got the Mitford sisters scandalizing Britain, a French chef turned international spy, and even an Outlander prequel that turned out way better than anyone expected. From Spain's answer to Bridgerton to the most lavish Italian remake of the decade, these are the 10 best period dramas of 2025 so far. This one finally gives the Mitford sisters their due. 6 sisters who spent the 1930s breaking every rule in the book, and somehow made headlines all over the world doing it. Outrageous is set right in the middle of all that. Starts in September 1931, finishes up in January 1937. 6 episodes, and you're probably going to recognize half the cast right away. Bessie Carter, Callum Lynch, Jack Michael Stacey, all from Bridgerton and the Queen Charlotte spin-off. This show could have gone full dry BBC history lesson, but instead it does something smarter. It frames everything through Nancy's eyes. So you actually get to know these people. Every sister is spot on. The acting is great, the dynamics are messy, but in the best way. The only complaint is that we don't have a second season yet. It's ridiculously watchable, one of those shows you binge by accident. This one's about Ruth Ellis, the last woman hanged in Britain. 4 episodes. Lucy Boynton plays Ruth, Toby Jones and Toby Stephens are both in there too. If you know your UK true crime, you know this story. Ruth Ellis, nightclub manager, gets into a violent mess with her lover, shoots him, ends up on trial, and then a massive legal battle before she's executed by Albert Pierrepoint. It's a little slow at first, but the last 2 episodes pull it together. The visuals are top-notch, costumes, sets, all that. The music's good too. My only real issue was the script. It's just a bit flat sometimes, missing that extra spark, but Lucy Boynton and Mark Stanley are both solid, and Toby Jones is, well, he's always good. If you like this kind of true crime period piece, it's worth sticking with to the end. So, I'll be honest, I didn't expect much here. Looked like another one of those hot chef TikTok shows that Apple Plus keeps trying to make happen, and let's just say their track record isn't great. But this one actually works. The story follows Antoine, who starts out poor during the French Revolution and ends up basically inventing haute cuisine, crossing paths with Napoleon, the Tsar, even the Rothschilds. The writing's sharp. It looks incredible. Real production value for once. The lead actor has a ton of presence. And on top of all the food, you get some French political intrigue, a bit of spy story, romance, deception, drama. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't lose the main thread. The food at the end of the day is still the star. I know some of the drama here is cranked up for TV, but the culinary history is spot on. If you care about food or just want to see some wild historical drama, this is a solid pick. This is your Spanish answer to Bridgerton. 8 episodes, set in Madrid in the 1880s, so you're right in the middle of the Restoration period and all the social chaos that comes with it. The main character, Elena, breaks the 4th wall from the start. She tells you exactly what she thinks about the story she's in and what not to expect, which is kind of refreshing. You don't get as many ballroom scenes as Bridgerton, but when they show up, the dancing is great. And they even use classical covers of pop songs, which always works. The humor is sharp, there's a lot of snappy back and forth between the couples, and it never gets too heavy. You get just enough drama and twist to keep you watching, but it's mostly fun, fast, and doesn't take itself too seriously. This is the adaptation of Richard Flanagan's Booker-winning novel on Amazon Prime, and it's a heavy one. Jacob Elordi stars as an Australian army surgeon whose life gets completely upended by an affair with his uncle's wife, then by the brutal reality of a Japanese camp during World War II. First thing, this is above all a love story. The main character's torn between his safe relationship with the girl from the right family and the woman he actually falls for. Acting strong across the board, the prisoners' camp scenes look incredible. The cinematography alone is worth it, but heads up, it can be rough to watch. There's some real brutality here, and it doesn't sugarcoat the history. The only real gripe is the 3-timeline structure. It can get confusing, especially because the 2 lead actresses look pretty similar in early episodes, but if you stick with it, it's worth it. Easily one of the best of the year. The highest-rated new period drama on this list. This is a romantic saga that jumps between World War I and the wild highlands of 18th century Scotland, following two couples whose lives keep colliding across the centuries. It's got plenty of drama, a bit of everything, and the creators really went for it. It isn't quite on the level of the original Outlander, but honestly, the show is much better than expected. For anyone catching up on the main series, there's a real surprise in how much these new characters draw you in. The writing and acting are strong, making it easy to care about what happens. The same attention to detail shows up in this prequel. The effort is obvious, and the production value is top tier. Landscapes, costumes, cinematography, all beautifully done. One downside, the return of week-to-week episodes instead of binge-watching. But for fans of the original, this is definitely worth a look. This series offers a fictionalized account of Jane Austen and her sister Cassandra, focusing on their lives and relationships. Even without much background on Jane Austen or her books, this series works. The show delivers outstanding performances, and while the plot moves quickly and jumps between two timelines, it remains engaging throughout. There are important parallels between timelines, and the central relationship between Jane and Cassandra really stands out. The struggle with choices, especially for women at the time, is depicted with care, and the actors do a great job bringing out the emotional weight. The period details are on point, subtle colors in the costumes and sets, the signature BBC polish, and strong casting, particularly with the two actresses playing Cassandra. And what's great here, Jane's letters and novels are woven into the story in a way that feels natural. Netflix's Italian miniseries adaptation of the classic story about a 19th century Sicilian family caught up in Italy's unification. It's a remake of the 1963 Luchino Visconti film, the one starring Burt Lancaster and Alain Delon. Not everyone realizes Italy was unified quite late, and the series dives into all the upheaval that came with it. The lead, Don Fabrizio, is based on the author's own grandfather, a complex, privileged character who's also sharp and resilient in his own way. The show highlights the class struggle, the clash between Catholicism and secularism, the North versus the South, basically all the big historical themes. The visuals are stunning. Mediterranean light, beautiful landscapes, and detailed period costumes. Fans of the original novel or film might want to revisit those, but this new adaptation makes the most of its longer format and updated production. Belcanto is set in Italy during the Austrian-Hungarian occupation. Three women, Carolina, Antonia, and their mother, Maria, escape to Milan after tragedy, hoping to chase an opera dream. At first, it looks like Antonia is the star, but Carolina's talent quickly becomes clear. The show has everything: family tension, ambition, great love stories, politics, and of course, some beautiful singing. Costumes and sets feel true to the period, and the direction is top-notch. The only downside is that the love story could have used more time, and the ending leaves some questions open, making a second season feel almost necessary. The series really pays off after a couple episodes, definitely one for fans of drama and anyone interested in Italian culture. This one is a historical drama on Prime about King Saul and David. Expectations might be low for another biblical series, but this one really delivers. High production values, great cinematography, and standout performances, especially from Michael Iskander in the lead. Now, some people are hung up on the show taking some creative liberties with the source material, but look, it's not a documentary. They're upfront about it. Every episode starts with a disclaimer that says they've filled in some gaps for the sake of the story, but tried to stay as true as possible. And honestly, nothing really contradicts the actual biblical text. It's not supposed to replace reading the Bible. It's just a well-done drama based on those stories. Even when you already know how the story goes, seeing it brought to life like this just hits different.